Yeah, what ends up happening is it's difficult, but we end up taking from our PE department. And so we really want a separate set of equipment for outdoors because it gets intermingled, and we want to be respectful with the PE department because a lot of the times they purchase their own equipment that they use in a lot of the activities that they use, or a lot of activities that they do.
Discussion. Motion to approve the 2018-2019 fees as presented.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stoffel?
Yes.
Mr. Bellafiore?
Yes.
Mrs. Paletti?
Yes.
Mr. DiGiulio?
Yes.
Mr. Biondo?
Yes.
Mr. Rasivich?
Yes.
Mr. Lutston?
Yes.
Motion approved. The approval of the 2018-2019 fees as presented. Discussion. Motion to approve the 2018-2019 letter to parents as presented.
A motion.
I'll second.
Discussion.
I just have a question. Since we're going to be changing the policy from 100 per family to 100 per child, I know this letter is dated August. When in August are you anticipating sending it out, just to give the families who have multiple children as much notice as possible that this is going to be changed for them?
Well, my apologies. We send it out in July. It goes out the end of June.
Oh,
It goes out the end of June, so we're going to make a change to that.
okay. The letter here says
yeah, and this is a
August, so-
procedure. This is a procedure, not necessarily a policy. That's why we brought this to the board for procedural purposes.
And will that letter be posted on the website as well, so we can?
Yes, we're going to post the presentation on the website, and we're going to post the letter on the website so people are aware. And so we need the approval now because our staff is not in the building in July. So our building staff is not present, so they got to get all the packets together, and really this is the last piece they need.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Biondo?
Yes.
Mr. Lutston?
Yes.
Mr. Stoffel?
Yes.
Mrs. Paletti?
Yes.
Mr. Bellafiore?
Yes.
Mr. DiGiulio?
Yes.
Mr. Rasivich?
Yes. Motion approved the 2018-2019 letter to parents as presented. Next thing is Springfield in Washington, D.C. Principal Palmer.
Sure. I'm happy to bring to you a year-end summary of all the wonderful opportunities that we were able to work with our parent group and our teachers to bring to you. The first one was our fifth graders had the opportunity to read the book Wonder. And we then were able, through student fees, to take them on a walking field trip over to the AMC Theater, which has outfitted itself in these lovely lounging chairs. So my entire fifth grade in the lounging chairs, and only one student, we think, fell asleep. But it was a heartwarming, amazing experience. The movie is fantastic. If you haven't seen it yet, I think the students really enjoyed themselves. As you can see, they were very excited. So yes, it was a perfect complement to our curricular activities, and we were very excited. We heard the movie was coming out, and Miss Mostyn was able to dynamically work in a unit so that we could do that. Mr. Browder actually spearheaded, this was while I was in Washington, D.C., the sixth graders got to do a team building day afternoon at the park. This was an activity actually that eighth graders used to do at the beginning of the eighth grade, and so it was inspired by that. And yes, some of the kids were not up for being photographed, so we'll get by there. This is a very exciting group. This is 80 of our seventh graders. We had 80 of them pay to go to Springfield, and 11 eighth graders. So we took 2 buses full of students, Mrs. Guzik and I, and wonderful parent volunteers, including your board president, were present to see our state capitol and several sites, including the Lincoln Museum, and I think it was a wonderful experience for them. They saw, our state capitol is breathtaking. It really is, and I think that was a very enjoyable trip. I was excited that 80 of them signed up and went. Nobody here went, did they? No? Okay. And then the piece de resistance, the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. This trip, I'd like to just turn it over to our students who came tonight. Come on up, ladies. Come on. Let's go. All right. They can tell you all about it. Here you go. So here you go, Claire. You got to introduce yourself, and then this you can advance the slides. So go ahead.
Okay.
You are.
My name's Claire.
I'm Jenna. I'm Stephanie.
Great. So just go ahead and tell them what you see. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll sit here.
So
Come on, girl.
Go
for it. You
ahead.
got this.
There you go. Where were you?
we were touring the Capitol, and there was like a whole bunch of like statues and stuff, and like we got to like see how, yeah.
How well? What happens in the Capitol? The U.S. Capitol. What happens there?
Laws.
Yeah, that. Okay. Now go back. If you hit the back arrow, no, that's the forward arrow. But if you hit the back arrow, you'll see a very important feature in this picture. Right? Look over here on the table. Right? This was the hat to have. Clearly.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
many of our students decided this was the souvenir to have, and so everyone was wearing these bucket hats all over the place. So we brought some back actually for some of the ladies that requested them. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, so here's the Capitol again. We didn't get to go inside of it.
Yes, we did. You just
Yeah,
toured
we
it.
did. Wait, yeah, we did.
It's so cute. I'm putting you on the spot. I know.
Yes.
Go ahead. Advance. There you go. Now you can
Okay.
talk about those things.
There's the Lincoln Memorial, and
And what were you doing at the Vietnam Memorial?
we had to we got a piece of paper, and then we had to find people's names, and we had to scribble them. So then we got to see it was imprinted on the piece of paper.
And do you remember how this tour guide picked these names?
No.
Okay. These were actually names of people who were lost in the Vietnam War
yeah.
who were from this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were actually from the greater Norwich area. They specifically targeted, found those people. So that was very cool. Go ahead. We also found a gentleman on the wall named James Giles, which was very crazy, but yes. Okay.
So here's the White House, and there's all of us. We didn't get to go in it, but we got to go outside of it. It was pretty cool, and we got to see the guards holding other guns and stuff.
Yes, they were serious about their security. Yes. And we had wonderful weather, right? The first 2 days, and then the third day.
Well, it was raining a lot, but it was cool. We still got to see everything and walk around.
I think you guys were okay with the rain, right?
Yeah, because it wasn't humid, so it was
Right.
good.
All right. So, what did you guys enjoy about the trip?
I liked learning, and we got to go to the White House, and I thought that was pretty cool, even though we didn't get to go inside.
It's a lot of stuff you see on the news or on TV, and you actually got to see some of the things you studied, maybe? I don't know. Yes? Yeah. And was it fun to ride in the bus?
Yeah, it was really fun.
I know. Somehow I think the bus ride was the best part, but that's okay.
Which
Kinda
one?
call
The
me
one
crazy.
pulling up to the school is the best part of the bus ride.
Well,
As you get to unload all the 80 or the 60 kids that were there.
yeah. So would you recommend that we do this trip in the future?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was really fun.
I thought it was a really good experience.
Yes.
It was.
Good. Okay. Nice. Well, thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
So next year, we hope to offer our 6th graders the trip with the Chicago Architectural Tour. The 7th graders, Springfield again, and then we've already looked into Washington in May and beginning of June. So we're hoping to find something for those 5th graders, like we did this year, kind of a wonderful, thing that fell in our lap, but certainly these are opportunities to help our students broaden themselves and apply their educational learning to the greater world. So, questions? Comments?
I have a comment. I was one of the fortunate parents to attend the 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip along with my partner back there, Nicole Rohde, and Dorothy Witowski, another mom that was with us on the trip. This was a self-funded trip. This was a trip that the students, their families paid for. And we had 40 students on this trip. And for the first time in the years here at Giles, since way back when Patty was here, this trip
Only a couple years ago. Yeah.
This trip was non-existent, and it was with hard work and follow-up to our wonderful principal, Miss Palmer, who researched and said, yes, I want to take these kids to Springfield. Yes, I want to take these kids to DC. And if it wasn't for her, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, literally, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and we had Step behind us, helping us. I'm just hoping that as the years continue, these trips grow in attendance for all students to immerse themselves in the culture in the Springfield and in DC. I mean, I was just blown away. You see things of Washington, but when you're actually there and you're seeing all the monuments and you're seeing all the history, the archives, the memorials. I mean, the Pentagon Memorial was, you know, something that I experienced from 9/11. So seeing that memorial, I mean, truly was breathtaking. And Nicole, Dorothy, anything that you guys want to share from the trip?
Well, you know, I think it was a really great educational experience for the kids. It really allowed them to engage on a different level with each other. I think because they were exposed to all this information. And, you know, it brought to light to them the significant monuments and American art, the memorials that they read about and learned about throughout junior high. So it really was a great, bundle of activities from them from morning till night. And, you know, I hope the district continues this for the students throughout the year. So I was glad to experience it with them as well.
Yeah, we really thank the parents that came and chaperoned. We really couldn't have done it without them. So, yes, great. Thank you.
So why weren't we able to go into the White House? Because we were promised that by our representative. I was here when he was at Lee, and he told us that he would take care of that.
Well, I've been told in the past that tickets to the White House are tricky because it's first come, first serve. It depends on when you're going. It depends on who else is requesting them in front of you. We did get started late with this trip. And so this year, my secretary and I, Helen Lenzarakis, and I will call Quigley's office. We'll submit all of the 8th graders and my name so that we get in line. And obviously all of the 8th graders aren't going to go, but they need to be cleared by the Secret Service and everything. So we're going to try to get in line as soon as possible. As soon as I have a step meeting to officially approve that we're going to do this again, then we're going to get to Quigley's office earlier, and I think that will be more successful. You can also request through your congressperson a tour of the Pentagon in the same fashion, but again, you really have to do it about 10 months in advance. So. And
the level of heightened security this trip was, I mean, even our tour guide from Bright Spark, in all the years he'd been doing that, we literally had to. You'd be able to drive the bus right up to the monuments, unload your bus, and the bus driver would go off. We'd park blocks away because we couldn't get near a lot of these attractions or memorials. So I would imagine there was just a lot of security that
But it felt very safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Parents that were apprehensive of sending their children, which I was definitely one of them. I was not going to let my first baby, that's 14 now, sorry, but I wasn't, I felt the pain, so that's why, obviously I wanted to go in any capacity, and I'm not only glad for my own personal experience, but just being there, I just never realized how safe